Mounting detachable tools on workbenches. William Hovey Smith, 2016. I am the author of Backyard Deer Hunting and also the owner of a new company, Hovey's Knives of China. One thing we're doing is getting ready for serious knife production. And in doing this, I've installed a new workbench. And here is a method of interchanging tools on the same workbench so you don't clutter up your surface with all kinds of stuff that's permanently mounted.
This is Hovey Smith, the Backyard Sportsman. And what we have on the workbench today is we are drilling some sub-assemblies so I can mount things like this chainsaw blade sharpener temporarily on my workbench for the few times of year I use it, and then take it off for the rest of the season. Workbench space is too valuable to have all kinds of stuff permanently put on it. Then you lose your surface area. Now I have one vise permanently mounted on this steel bench, and it's going to stay there. But decades ago, what I did is, this is a simple little woodworker's vise that you see, and I inletted it on the back to make it portable. This I could tack onto a bench using number 10 nails and take off when I didn't need it. And if I wanted to take it actually out in the woods and use it, yeah, I had my vise. Well, I do muzzleloading hunting, and we get in all kinds of little difficulties with muzzleloading hunting. And sometimes having a vise actually in the field is more useful than you might think. And this, yeah, I just throw this in the back of my truck and take it anywhere. So what we've done here is we've got two salvaged planks and a piece of plywood. And we're drilling 4 holes through these planks now to mount our sharpening tool. Then we're going to drill 2 holes here for pegs that'll actually affix it into my workbench. So we're going to start and finish the last of these little holes. I assume you've seen holes drilled before. Yeah, it's biting now. Found sort of material. What I'm going to do is fix nuts on the end of these bolts here, countersink them, and grind them flat on the surface. Then here we'll drill 2 holes that'll take pegs that'll fix it to the wooden workbench. The laminate that we're going to use is something similar to what we've already installed on this bench grinder, which I've just taken off the workbench and put on the steel one. So we have our flash plate here, a piece of plywood, and then these 2 planks that we're going to run this way. Then we're going to use a spade bit and actually drill the 3/4 inch holes here for the pegs to hold the work in place on the bench. And that is exactly what we have done here on the bench grinder, as you can see. I salvaged some sound planks from the wood pallets, so we are going to just cut off these nail holes. Okay, and then trim to length. Now that we have our 2 under supports drilled, we'll go ahead and spot these holes here and index those and fix them before we actually use the spade bit and put in the larger holes here. We have our first hole drilled in the corner squared and the 2 pieces indexed with this bolt right here. So we'll now try to enter the second hole as close as we can. There we go. So now we're sure we have these two holes permanently aligned. Now we have basically a 3-ply construction, and I have these bolts run through to index everything in place. So what we're going to do on this steel workbench is take these sheetrock nails, and this is going to tie everything together. The nice thing about having a steel bench is I can just pound straight on down through without any problems. So this assembly will be well studied with nails by the time I'm done. Now we're doing the spade bit to do the 3/4 inch hole for the dowels. And the trick is to have these two holes aligned. Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. Now we'll very carefully measure from this center and precisely sight this hole over here. And how did we do? Well, our subassembly now fits through these holes, so we can just put our pegs in, and these are just pieces of wooden branch that have been turned down to fit the holes. There we go. And tap them down, and that is fixed. That's not going anywhere. So all that remains is to take our device, bolt it and nut it to this, and countersink the nuts, and then grind them all flush to the bottom of this plate, and we're done. And now we're going to take our angle grinder and cut the ends of these bolts off. We happen to have two bolts that were long enough to actually hold this on the work. But just to dress up this surface a little bit, I'm going to run it for a few seconds here on the belt sander to just true up this bottom. So now we have a nice smooth surface for everything to bed on. And now we have our grinder very firmly mounted to the bench, and we can proceed to do work. But now, this is Hovey Smith, reminding you to hunt what you eat and eat what you hunt. Be legal, be ethical, be safe. Goodbye, God bless, and see you next time.
And here's a clean picture of our logo. Now, although these knives are inspired by Chinese designs, they're actually all made here in central Georgia. Now, I am the author of Backyard Deer Hunting and other outdoor books, such as Extreme Muzzleloading, Practical Bow Fishing, and Crossbow Hunting. Most of these are very basic introductory texts that teach you all you need to know about the subject. I'm also the author of a new series of business books under the Profit brand. The first of these is Ideas for New Businesses, How to Found Your Own Million or Billion Dollar Business. And here's a little blurb about me and what I do. Now, the use of these peg sub-assemblies allows any number of tools to be interchanged on the same workbench. So this is a great space saver. For more info on Hovey's Knives of China, there's a website below. For more information on my books, blogs, and more than 525 videos, you can go to my website, www.hoveysmith.com. Good hunting and good eating from the outdoors. Goodbye, and God bless.